Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you all the different qualifications that you need to become a counsellor or a therapist in the UK. Starting from the very beginning, if you have no experience or are moving from a different career, these are the different qualifications that you'll need. Even if you've already done some of the training already, you can always top it up with some other training. So I'll go through everything from the level 1 diploma to the PhD and everything in between. So let's get into it. So at the beginning, if you have no knowledge, no experience in counselling whatsoever, you can begin with a counselling level diploma. Now these range from the foundation or introduction level to level 6. So this is the counselling skills diploma. So these range from just a few months to 2 years maximum, I believe. And all of them are part-time. Most of them will cost anything from a few £100s to a few £1,000s. And don't worry, you can apply for funding for all of them if you don't want to pay out of pocket. But because it's part-time, if you're working a full-time job, you can pay for your studies all in one go or in installments, which then allows you to save yourself from getting into extra debt. So I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe that you can work when you have a level 4 or level 5 counselling skills diploma. But this is all dependent on your client experience and your client hours. So if you are able to do placement on your level 4 or your level 5, those placement hours will allow you to be able to work in some places. I did do a video on what you can expect in your level 3 counselling skills diploma, which you can watch at the end of this video, and I'll put it in the description box as well. So that's the first qualification that you can get. Anything from foundation to level 6 counselling skills diploma would be your first qualification that you need. If you haven't done counselling before, if you don't know anything about counselling but you want to get into it, that would be the best place to start. The next qualification that you need as a counsellor possibly is a counselling degree. I did an undergrad in psychology. I did not know that I wanted to be a counsellor until after I'd finished my undergrad, or until I got to the end of my undergrad. So I think it's much better to save yourself the time and money of doing a psychology undergrad or any other undergrad and then doing a counselling degree on top of that. So a counselling degree would most likely be 3 years, but I think it could be 4 years or 6 years if you choose to do it part-time. But most of them are 3 years, like a regular undergraduate degree in the UK. So throughout this degree, you will be expected to do 100 hours of placement, which can be enough for you to start working and be a qualified counsellor. You can only be registered, you can't be accredited. You would need 450 hours to be accredited, but you can still work with clients. This course would be full-time, so it would be 1 academic year, so it would be kind of like September to June, depending on what time your intake is. If you are doing an intake from January, then you'd probably finish around September. And just like the counselling skills diploma, you can apply for student loan, so the government can pay for your tuition and they can give you maintenance loan to get you through your degree. And always make sure that your degree is accredited. The next qualification that you can get as a counsellor is a counselling degree. Counselling or psychotherapy degree is very interchangeable. So I'm currently doing a counselling and psychotherapy degree, master's degree. So the counselling master's is also 3 years and in the same fashion, but the only difference is this one is part-time. I did a video explaining why this master's is 3 years and you can't do it in 1 year or 2 years. There is no full-time version of this course because it's just too demanding and there's just too many requirements to fit in such a short space of time. So this course is always usually part-time, and with this one you can also get a loan of around 11k from the government, but this 11k is split across 3 years, across 3 terms each year. So each term you'll only really get about £1,000, so each year you'll get about £3,000, give or take. During your master's course, you're supposed to acquire 200 placement hours, so unlike the degree you'd only get 100 placement hours. With the master's degree, it's mandatory to get a minimum 200 hours, but you can go up as high as 300 hours, which is what I'm trying to aim for. And also I forgot to mention that you don't get maintenance loan, you only get money that's given to you directly. They don't give it directly to the university like they do with your degree to pay for your tuition. They give you the money and you choose whether to pay your tuition or to use it for other things. But of course for me, I pay directly to my tuition. So with my master's course, placement is only in 2nd year and 3rd year. However, speaking to somebody I did my psychology undergrad with, and she said that she is at University of Derby and they have been doing placement since 1st year. So every university will be different. Just ask and double check what their procedure is. So by the time that you finish a counselling master's, you'll be qualified with 200 to 300 hours of placement, which allows you to work with clients in more places places, because a lot of places do look for people with a master's degree, because a lot of places look for people with more qualification and more experience, and the more placement hours you have, the more jobs that you're likely to be able to get. The next qualification that you can get as a counsellor is, of course, a PhD or a doctorate. And unfortunately, this is also 3 years. So a lot of things coming in threes. So as far as I'm aware, the government does not provide student loans for this. So if you were to do a PhD, you would literally have to pay out of pocket. So it's quite unattainable unless the government starts giving out PhD loans just the same way they started giving out master's loans. And I'm not sure whether this PhDs are part-time or full-time, but with the way that the masters are, I'm assuming that PhDs would also be part-time. But let me just say to you, it does not feel like part-time because there's so much to do outside of the course. And in my vlog, you would have seen how much I actually do on my days off when I'm not in uni. I'm actually doing 2 placements on different days, and it actually takes up a lot of time, and then you're doing supervision and counselling on other days. So your whole week, you're still doing something related to your degree. So it's not as part-time as it seems. It's only called part-time because you don't spend a certain amount of hours in class, but the overall hours that you spend towards the course is definitely full-time dedication. So with the PhD or the doctorate, by the time you graduate, you would qualify with 450 placement hours, which is what's expected. By the time you graduate, you would basically be an accredited counsellor, and you wouldn't have to work towards accreditation after you finish because you would have done all of it while you're on your master's course, which is why it's very different. So degree, you get 100 hours. On your master's, you get 200 to 300 hours maximum. And then on your PhD, you get 450 hours of placement. Those are the requirements. Even on your diploma certificates, you can do placement, I believe, on level 5 and 6. I'm not sure about level 4. But level 5 and level 6, I believe are equivalent to degree and master's level. I think they are. I'll try and double check. So those are all the qualifications that you need to become a counsellor. However, don't click off the video yet. Let me just explain something. I'm not saying that you need all of these qualifications to be a counsellor. Some of them are needed in addition to others. So for example, if you have no experience in counselling, you're going to have to do the counselling skills diploma certificate first. And then you could either jump onto a degree, or you can jump onto a master's like I did, but you can only jump onto a master's if you already have some kind of social sciences undergrad. So if you already have a degree, you can go back, do a level 3 like I did, and then go to your master's. However, but let's say you've just finished your A-levels and then you go to university and then you do a counselling degree. You won't need to do a counselling skills diploma or a master's or a PhD because you can go straight into work. But in order to do a PhD, for example, you would need to have done a master's and an undergrad in order to qualify for a PhD. So it's very mix and match. It's not that you need to do all of them, but you do the ones that are needed. But for most people, you will need to have at least a counselling skills diploma first before you can move on to all the other levels, with the exception of a counselling degree. So before you go, I highly recommend you watching the playlist that I created, which is for all future counsellors, and it has everything you need to know about what it's going to take to become a counsellor, from the assignments, from the level 3 diploma, to my vlogs which show you the ins and outs, to explaining the workload and the cost of becoming a counsellor. It has everything you need in order to prepare you for your journey, and I hope it helps you, because I wish I'd had this help when I was starting out. So don't be afraid to ask me any questions. Don't forget to subscribe and to like and to leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.